definitely the Abuja real estate market, I think, is the most organized in the whole of the country.
Those apartment buildings should primarily be marketed as investment apartments because there is serious demand for rent and short-let apartments. So if you're building those apartments, market them as investment apartments, not as low-cost housing. You can't be marketing low-cost housing in Maitama or Asokoro where the price of the land has already destabilized the equation. That is why when you're buying property in FCT, your surveyors are like your best friends. You must ensure that, okay, what is on ground is what is on paper. Yes. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this amazing podcast once again. Today, we are very excited to host a very important figure in the real estate industry in Nigeria.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Jeff Anozie. He is based in Enugu, but gradually migrating into the Abuja real estate market. Yes, Jeff is somebody we should definitely look out for. He's doing amazing things in Enugu, and he has started doing amazing things in the Abuja real estate market. Mr. Jeff, you're welcome.
Thank you.
We are excited to have you on this podcast today.
My boss, I'm excited to be here. It's a privilege to be on your podcast. Thank you so much.
So much.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so today we will be looking at some aspects of Abuja real estate and also the real estate market in Enugu. Yes. So, Mr. Jeff, before we begin proper, I remembered sometimes, was it earlier this year or last year that you had your conference?
Yes, that was last year ending.
November last year. Yeah. What was the inspiration for that?
Okay, so
podcast, that conference?
For the conference. So basically, thank you, by the way, for having me here, first of all. Then, for the conference, basically, I had done real estate for a bit above 2 years or 3 years in Enugu.
Wow.
And at the time, there was no gathering of realtors. You know, there was no proper gathering of, realtors.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, because of course I've gone out for other events in Lagos, in Abuja, in other places of, the country.
Wow.
And I thought to myself that, okay, if this is a need I see, so someone has to create it, and nobody was coming up with anything.
Wow.
So 2 years ago, we decided that, let us put together something called the Southeast Realtors Conference.
Wow.
And at the time there was no Southeast Realtors Conference, not even just Enugu, like in the whole of the Southeast. So we thought to put this together. Okay, the major inspiration came from my first year in real estate.
Wow.
The company I worked for or worked with, they had an end of the year real estate conference.
Wow.
And I emerged top selling realtor that year, right?
Wow.
So at the end of that, when he had that conference, I liked the energy in the room, right? I liked the way the place felt. And it was a company event, right?
Yes.
And I was awarded top selling realtor.
Wow.
So the next year it didn't happen. That was 2021.
Yes.
So by 2022 it didn't happen.
Wow.
2023 it was looking like it was not going to happen.
Yes.
So I decided that, what? If I felt that way then, I wonder how the new realtors coming up will are going to feel. So I decided to make it not really a company thing, but just a realtor generic gathering. And so that's how we had the first edition in 2023.
Wow.
Southeast Realtors Conference. Around 600 realtors from the Southeast came together.
That's impressive.
Then 2024 we had the second edition, about 1,500 realtors in the Southeast.
Wow.
Some came from Lagos, Abuja, everywhere.
That's a very big conference.
Yeah, so that was just basically
No, that is impressive. That is impressive. Yeah. Hopefully we're going to do that for Abuja. So what is it going to be? Is it going to be Abuja Realtors Conference or it's going to be Northern Realtors Conference?
All right. I think I'll leave that to you so we can discuss that. Yes, I think it will be a good idea, definitely. Yes, sir.
So generally, how is the real estate in Enugu? Is it as organized as Abuja, or what differences have you observed so far?
In my, say, 5 months now doing building a real estate business in Abuja, I would say that definitely the Abuja real estate market, I think, is the most organized in the whole of the country. Because of the of course, which I learned from you, the ministerial administrative real estate market. In back then in Enugu, we do more of the customary land, where you buy from communities, you go register with the government, and all of that. Sometimes I think one of the challenges we have is that because of the, of course, Land Use Act of 1978, that all lands in the is held in trust by the governor of the state. I think sometimes the governors come up and just decide to do many things, and of course sometimes it affects the real estate market, it affects developers as well. But in Abuja, there's already a plan. There's already an existing plan.
Definitely.
So every minister coming on board just follows the plan. So I think that is the major difference between this here and there, and that's the major thing I have just.
And I do always tell people that planning is everything in real estate. Everything. Yes, because two places will seem like very close by. Now take for example Papi and Maitama. Okay. Maitama is selling in billions.
True.
Yes, like 2,000 square meter in Tama now should be heading towards 2.5 billion.
Wow.
Yes, 2,000 square meter in Papi might be 60 million.
Wow.
And they are just extremely close. And the primary difference is that this has been properly planned with proper infrastructure, and this has not been properly planned with proper infrastructure. So in real estate, planning goes a long way. And one thing I know a lot of states are suffering from is that they don't have an implemented master plan.
I agree.
Yes. And most times, if governors try to do it later, it's more of affect the activities of real estate developers, because a real estate developer will see a land that is not in encumbrance by any government acquisition or anything. He decides to go into that land. Then the government will decide that they want to plan that area after he has started his activities.
That's true.
In fact, if a state governor will take out 2 years and implement a proper master plan for every state, that thing will go a long way, because I don't know how governors allow development to just continue to happen. What is important is that don't just allow roads to happen. Because that is exactly what is happening. Don't just allow it to just happen. No. Experts should decide that, okay, these places should be roads, these places should be churches, these places should be other religious institutions, these places should be mosques, this will be school, and what have you. Yes. So even if it's your grandfather's land, if you go there, you know that, okay, these are the ranges of things you can have in this place. You can't just decide that it's market you want to create. You can't just decide that, okay, it's market you want to create in this place. Yes. That's why in FCT, if you're not careful in buying a place, you can buy a place you want to build a hotel, it's symmetric because it has been planned.
That is true.
It has been planned. Yes, even if there is no symmetry there today, it has been planned that this place will be a symmetry. So I think that is one thing I think state governors will definitely be looking out to doing. And I know there are states that actually have a master plan, but it's not being implemented. Yes, so having a master plan is not enough. Even in FCT, in places where those master plans have not been implemented, it becomes a big problem in the future. Yes, because a lot of the settlements Wiki is trying to relocate today, most of them are proper layouts that have been designed, districts that have been designed, areas that have been designed, but it was not implemented. Yes. In fact, there was a time, I think some months ago, A friend called me. He wanted to get a property in Sector Center F. Yes, it's one of the planned districts in FCT, but it has like unorganized settlement on it. Although the place has been designed, it has been allocated, but you have a densely choked ghetto on it currently. When I went there, the land he wanted to buy, I think it's about 2,000 plus square meters. On that land alone, you have about 30 different houses on it. So imagine the effort it will take you, and almost every other land around there is like that. Imagine the effort and the energy it's going to take you to relocate all those people. So government should, like, as you're planning it, execute it immediately. If it means removing the roads, even if you're not ready to provide proper infrastructures and what have you, but show the layout that this has been planned out. Yes. Yes. So in terms of barrier to entry in Enugu and Abuja, what have you observed?
Barrier to entry, Enugu, Abuja. The barrier to entry is really, the gap is very big. In places like Enugu, I would say in the east, Enugu's barrier to entry is a bit high too, compared to other cities around Enugu. However, because down east, the customary land administration, so you can easily go meet a community or a family or an individual that owns land and tell him that, okay, see you, I need this your land. And let's say he's in their need of money. And then you give him, say, a 5 to 10 million naira for a, say, 1 hectare of land, for instance. And then you tell him that, okay, I'll pay you over in a period of 12 months. There's a chance he will agree. There's a very, very big chance he will agree. And so with your 5 million naira, you just give him the money and you can move to sites. Clear in places like Port Harcourt, they even have something called bush entry. So what that means is you've agreed on a fee, but you don't have the money for the fee. You can pay bush entry and clear the place. Then they give you, say, 3 weeks to 4 weeks. Then you pay. You can even mount a sign and start pointing the place. Oh, see my land, see my land. But in Abuja, no, it's different. It's different here. And of course, I've noticed that from the 5 months or so I've been here, I've realized that because of the way the allocations are gotten, especially when the allocation is correct, because of the stress, the money involved in getting the allocation, the owner doesn't want to just give you even payment plans. He just tell you to pay in 3 days. I mean, you're telling me to pay 500 million in 3 days. So that was the first, will I say, major barrier to entry I realized in Abuja. And I now saw that other people like me that were just coming, decided to go for, area councils. They get to make a little more money from there, and then it's cheaper, per se to enter. So these are just the differences I've noticed. Down there, 5-10 million, you can start out a project, but here
in fact, even with your 500 million naira here, you are starting extremely small. 500 million naira, you're talking about just about 2,500 square meters to 3,000 square meters in Wuye. Yes. Yes. And you see, the primary difference I see is that in other places, poor people still have lands. But in FCT, most of the lands you're going to need as a developer is in the hands of billionaires. In fact, many of the guys that own land in FCT, some of them you are virtually begging them to sell to you. Yes, because they are not really after that land. That is not what is their problem now. It's like you seeing the Senate president's land you want to buy. That's like the least of his problem to sell that land to you. So there are a lot of calibers of those people that many of them owns those lands. In fact, sometimes even setting up meeting with them. Yes. With your money, actually. Even setting up meeting with them, it's a problem in the first place. I remember there's a land of one of the former state governors in Adama I wanted to. Officially, to get those allocation does not cost you more than 100,000 to 250,000 naira. Yes, officially. Really? Yes.
All these billions.
Yes, it does not cost you that 100,000 to 250,000 naira, depending on the type of land you are applying for. Unfortunately, politicians get more of the allocation. Yes. So I don't know if it's a compensation for them or whatever it is to them. They get more of the allocation. Yes. So developers have to go to them and buy. And okay, this is a comfortable politician. Yes, so he's not interested in you telling him you want to pay him in 12 months. What energy does he have to give you 12 months? To now be calling you, you've not paid this month's money.
That's true.
It's more like it just doesn't sound right. It's like somebody coming to tell you that you borrow him money, he'll be paying you 5,000 naira monthly.
Major barrier, because a lot of young developers are just coming to the market. So I guess that's where the whole collaboration. I think I see that a lot around here. And developers come together to purchase a property and all of that. Down east is not so much like that. Everybody wants to own his own property with his own name and all of that. Because I feel for this particular barrier, the only thing to do is to just partner, have some collaboration. Or if you can, of course, you sell very well or you have some very good contacts, you generate the cash, from your contacts, and then sort what you're doing as you grow, and you would have, enough capital and cash flow to always do those things. Definitely. I guess so.
Definitely. I think the alternative to that acquisition is like joint ventures. Yes, and a lot of times, even for the joint ventures, many of them have like premium.
That's it. Yes. That's it. Many of them. So you still have to drop some upfront cash.
And that upfront cash is the minimum you will most likely get is probably 50 million naira. Yes, for the premium. It's rare to get premium that are less
than that.
Yes, 50 million.
And this is aside the money you will start construction with. And stuff.
Yes. Depending on the area, those premiums can go as much as 500 million to 1 billion naira. Yes. So you can get a land that's the premium on it is 1 billion naira. You're not buying it, still a joint venture, yes. So aside that 1 billion naira, you need the money to begin the development with, yes. Yes, so I think Abuja is just like
very unique. It's different. I've done business in Lagos, Port Harcourt, Asaba, Enugu, a few other places, Uyo. Yes. But Abuja is different from the buyer's behavior, from the marketer's behavior, from the acquisition, from the administration. Everything is different.
Most definitely. Yes. And that uniqueness actually presents a very big opportunity. Yes, because currently every other person in Nigeria wants to own property in Abuja. Yes, and that is creating a serious surge in the market. When the Honorable Minister came on board 1.5 years ago or so, or 2 years ago, we expected that there will be serious slash in prices of properties in FCT, because when he started threatening revocation, yes, and what have you, the expectation was that those people that have been hoarding lands for a period of time, that have been speculating, will flood those properties in the market. But the market did not experience any drop whatsoever. I remember some friends that called me then, they wanted to buy property. I said, give it like a month or so, because with the minister's activity, prices are expected to go down. But it never happened. There was no time that the price actually dropped. It has just been going up and up and up. That's to tell you there is a serious surge that is happening every single second in the property sector in Abuja. Yes.
Totally. And you know, another thing I noticed is that the type of buyers, in my opinion, are majorly investors. You know, unlike where I'm coming from, most of the buyers are sentimental buyers. Okay, I'm from here, so I just want to own something here.
Here. Yes.
Yeah. And the little I know about investors is that they are like addictive buyers.
I agree with you.
Kind of like a habit. You know, I want to acquire something. I have some money. I want to put it in an asset. I want to acquire. I want to put it. So there's a constant demand to buy. You know, and all of that. And this is Abuja. The rise of development, the fast development. Everywhere is like a big construction site in Abuja. Exactly. You know.
In fact, it's referred to as the biggest construction site in Africa.
Wow.
Yes.
I can see that. I mean, driving around Abuja, everywhere is construction.
It's referred to as the biggest construction site in Africa because it's continuously happening. And one very big opportunity in Abuja that I noticed is taking is happening seriously in Accra, Ghana. The last time I was there is like investment apartments. They are not common in Abuja, and I think Abuja is ripe for that, yes. Because you see, if you notice, a lot of developers in Abuja don't build apartment buildings. They do more of terraces, yes, or standalone or semi-detached, yes. Abuja is very much ripe for apartment buildings. But the mistake those developers have been making is that they have been marketing those are the few apartment buildings they've made differently, like wrongly. Yes, those apartment buildings should primarily be marketed as investment apartments because there's serious demand for rent and short-let apartments. So if you're building those apartments, market them as investment apartment, not as low-cost housing. You can't be marketing low-cost housing in Maitama or Asokoro, where the price of the land has already destabilized the equation. Imagine building a 3-bedroom block of flats in Maitama. Because of the price of land, it's going for probably 200 million naira. By the time you start marketing that as a low-cost housing, automatically you have target wrongly. Because who are you marketing low-cost housing for 230 million naira? But imagine, on the other hand, you're marketing it as an investment apartment that can be generating 50 million naira monthly or quarterly. Very good. Yes. You can have like one person buying 3, one person buying 4, 5. So Abuja is very ripe for those investment apartments because, like, if you observe the central area in FCT, is just about halfway developed. Yeah. Yes. Those places need a lot of skyscrapers, and it's those investment apartments that can provide those skyscrapers. You won't know how big the housing deficit is in FCT until you try looking for house to rent. In fact, I don't want people calling me now that, Sadiq, please, we want a place to rent. Because it's a very big problem. It's a big problem. Yes. It's a very, very, very big problem. Most of my younger friends that are getting married, I'll tell them 6 months before your wedding, go and start looking for a house. Some of them will be like, no, they'll wait until 1 month. But sometimes 3 months after the wedding date, they've not gotten a suitable place. So, yes. How are you seeing the prospect in Enugu?
Talking about the prospects in Enugu and in the market there, and I was saying that yes, the current government, in the how many years I've been there, this current government have done a lot of work. So yeah, this is the first time I'm seeing a government trying to complete what a previous administration, started. They've built and completed the International Conference Center, and the Nigerian Bar Association, they are hosting their bar conference in Enugu this year. They moved it from Rivers State to Enugu. So that's like a 5,000 seater capacity and in the heart of town, and a lot of other things. We've seen roads that were not tarred being tarred this period, and a lot of things. So I think that in the next 2-3 years, the real estate market in Enugu will be very promising. Provided that the current government, continue the work they're doing and they're able to achieve the things they intend to achieve right there in Enugu. So the real estate market there is good, it's booming. And it's amazing.
In fact, that's really impressive to hear, because infrastructure definitely changes a lot.
A lot of things
in real estate. I think it's similar with what Abuja is currently experiencing under the Honorable Minister's Wike's administration. Yes, a lot of infrastructural development ongoing, and the country is definitely in their need of that, since since a lot of policies are not favoring the insecurity, and the policies are not favoring some foreign investors to come into the country. So I think the politicians, the government, needs to triple their effort on infrastructure, which obviously in FCT we are currently experiencing that, yes. And what that means is that a lot of areas will be experiencing surge in prices of properties.
Yes,
investors are going to be reaping a lot of appreciation in terms of their investment, and it's also a time to continue to invest in FCT, because the trend is now becoming more and more popular that everybody wants to own property in FCT. In fact, almost all the Nigerians in diaspora now that have intention of coming back to Nigeria, their intention is not to go back to Imo or go back to Kano, or if they're coming back, or to come back to Kaduna or Akwa Ibom. Most of them, their intention is to come back to Abuja. Yes, a lot of key directors in the different states in Nigeria that are working, their plan is how they're going to move down to Abuja. Politicians, their plan is how to move down to Abuja. So that serious demand, is there. So definitely Abuja is a place to continue to invest in. Yes. How soon are you looking at starting development in Abuja? Is it something you're looking at anytime soon?
Yes. However, I think is like I said, the market is different. Even the buyer behavior here, I think, is different from what I have known.
I agree with you.
Yes. So my goal is to take a little time to first learn, understand the market, and most importantly, build clientele. I have, of course, started getting some demands for real estate within this place. So build the clientele, and most importantly, understand the real estate market, which I've been studying. Thanks to people like you and your podcast. I've been watching a lot.
Thank you, sir.
And then the training also we had that day on due diligence, it was amazing. There was a lot of learning there, which of course is different from what I have known. So my plan is take out this period to first understand the market.
Very good.
Understand the market, I'm not really in a hurry to start development.
Very good.
And then build clientele as well as cash flow.
Yes.
Then before we can now jump
into development.
Development.
In fact, I think that's really a right way to go about it, because a lot of developers coming from different states tends to make that mistake. Somebody will just feel he has been in development for 5 years, for 7 years, for 10 years, that he has mastered everything. As he's coming into Abuja, because of his lack of experience here, he gets into a wrong property, and before you know it, it's a very, very big problem. The other day, I remembered Dr. Augustine Omeri, chairman of P1. Max, yes. He was talking about how he lost 600 million naira to a land that he had to refund 18 million naira.
I saw that video.
Very good to all those people that have bought those lands. Now he's in that position, he will be able to do that. Imagine a young developer just starting making such mistake. Yes, it's going to be destabilizing, yes, for him. And it's something that happens every now and then. It's not just one example. There are many of such expensive mistakes. In fact, for some, maybe the developers are not entirely sincere. For some, the developers are actual victims themselves. Yes, because there is an instance of one of the estates in Apo Hilltop where a lot of people have built in that estate, but all the houses have been marked for demolition. And where that house is sitting on FCT infrastructural water plant. Yes. So for like that one now, you won't be able to clearly ascertain if that developer was intentional about doing that or that developer was also a victim. Yes.
Because you can ascertain that when you go and search now, right?
If you do it correctly, yes. But like for this particular one now, I have a friend that works with Aegis that has almost finished building his house there. He conducted a search before buying. There's something called coordinate flying. And what coordinate flying is that the place you're being shown on ground is different from the paper you're given to go and conduct a search. And that search is made based on the paper you presented. So if there is no problem with the land that paper represents, they will tell you everything is okay. Yes. So one important thing in conducting a search is to match the TDP or get coordinate from the ground of where you want to buy to ensure that it tallies with what is on paper. Like that estate now, the paper they gave for search and everything was like 3.3 to 3.5 kilometers away from the actual land those people bought and built on. So you can imagine, it was like almost 3.5 kilometers away. It was a built estate and existing estate.
Okay, that they had that.
The title, yes.
The title
yes.
for Kai. So you have to find a way to match the coordinates.
Yes, you have to do that. You have to do that. That is why in your buying property in FCT, your surveyors are like your best friends. You must ensure that, okay, what is on ground is what is on paper. Yes. So you won't go and repeat very expensive mistake. Like I remember there are developers that recently were selling a place in Asokoro Extension. Yes, that I told you, like that place, the army has chased them. It was an army land they were selling. So they might also be a victim or it was an intentional act. So most times you won't be able to clearly ascertain except if you have talked to them one-on-one before you can know that, okay, were they actually victims or they intentionally did whatever it is they did, yes.
Wow. One has to be very careful in development in Abuja. I think it's basically because of as demand is high, so also with the scrupulous activities.
Yes.
Of individuals here behind,
Yes. But one thing I know, it's like really good in FCT, conflicts of land are relatively minimal, especially in places where you have proper allocation. Like the FCD allocation, conflicts are extremely minimal. Yes, in a lot of states, you can have more than one family fighting over a parcel of land. It's relatively minimal here. Most times, if you see land problems arising, many of the times probably racketeers are trying to take a land. Yes, but aside that, the system like shows that it has reduced those land conflicts to the barest minimum. Where you have a lot of conflicts is in the area council. That's when you can have 3 people genuinely believe they own one land. Each of them is 100% convinced that it is his land. So there is no iota of doubt. You are just trying to cheat him. That's the perspective. Exactly. And they are trying to defend their properties with their life. You know that mentality? Where all the 3 people genuinely believe they own this land and they are ready to defend it with their life. Yes. So that's where you have more of that challenges, because area council was not like digitized on the GIS system. Yes. Properties that are digitized on GIS, like once you check the coordinate, you see that, okay, this person owns this place. Yes. While those very good is there. So while those that are not on GIS, probably 3 people can actually get one allocation on one specific coordinate. And before you know what, it's a very, very big problem. Yes. Mr. Jeff, we're definitely excited. Yes, to have you. We're looking at doing more and more and more of this, of this podcast together. Yes. Thank you so much, and welcome to the Abuja real estate market. Yes, welcome to the Abuja real estate market.
I appreciate that. I'm excited to be here. I was telling my team
members,
a colleague of mine this morning, that I feel very privileged to have come to Abuja, because it has broadened my perspective,
very good,
and knowledge about real estate.
Very good.
You can't stay one side and in a regional market and think you understand real estate.
I agree with you.
When you play in the Abuja real estate market, then you understand real estate. So I'm excited to be here. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jeff. Thank you.
So I hope to do this more and more. And
most definitely. Thank you so much. Yeah.